Hi, people of the Philippines and people of the world. Hit the button below. And you will be subscribing to the Boy Abunda Talk channel on YouTube. Let's keep talking. Brandon, hi. Kevin, thank you. Thank you for your time.
It's good to be here.
I enjoyed Bling Empire. This is a series that put a smile into my face. Kevin, what was it that you wanted to achieve when you were planning to do the Bling Empire?
My main mission in the last 5-10 years of my life has always been about redefining the image of the Asian male, especially in media, TV, and having more faces that look like me that I wanted to aspire to. So that was my main thought before going into a project like this, is to change that narrative and to be myself and have fun.
Brandon, same question.
The opportunity to do the very first all Asian American ensemble was just very exciting as a producer. As a producer, you always want to do something that hasn't been done before. So certainly have the opportunity to do a show with an all Asian cast, something that I know that my family would be very, very excited to see. It meant a lot personally.
Kevin, when you say that you've always wanted to redefine the image of the Asian male, what is that image that you want to redefine? Because I know you're still into it.
Yeah, so I think in Western culture especially, it's maybe not so much in Asian culture, but I experienced in Asian culture too when I was modeling in Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong. Just the image of the Asian male just wasn't seen as sexy as other races. And I just wanted to change that because I always felt like growing up, I wasn't good enough being an Asian male. That's kind of the image, because in media and movies, you see a lot of the portrayals of Asian men, and they're not very complimentary in a lot of the movies or TV we saw growing up. Like Mr. Miyagi, Breakfast at Tiffany's is the big one that we always refer to, but it was okay to portray Asian men as emasculate and the butt of the joke, even racist portrayal. So I wanted to change that.
How much have you achieved that with the Bling Empire? And then I'll go to you, Brandon.
When you look at across media, portrayals of Asian Americans on American television in particular, it's always very narrow, right? They're always the funny person. They're always the smart guy. They're never a complete human being. So I think one of the things that was really great about Bling that we really tried to do was to show the cast as fully complex people. They make mistakes. They're not perfect. They've got all of the ups and downs. And that to me is what is so special about the show, and what I think it makes it very relatable, because people can actually see someone who looks like them, but also like behaves like their relatives and like makes mistakes, is an example of someone that they can emulate. I think that this cast is not perfect, and that's what makes the show great.
I think we're talking about something that's deeply cultural. With the Bling Empire, Brandon, how much of that has changed?
I think a great deal has been achieved. And I think what the proof will be, whether or not someone can come down the road a year or 2 years from now and sell a show and have it be looked at as a show on its own merits, not being an Asian show. One of the things when people have pitched a show like this previously, people have said, we don't have space for an Asian show. I think that the audience with both Crazy Rich Asians and with Bling Empire has proven that there's an appetite to see these sorts of stories and that they don't have to be perfect. That to me opens up a whole stream of opportunities. It's also, the word Asian is such a large word. It encompasses everything from India to Korea. I think that for us to be able to show with the Pan-Asian cast the diversity within that community, it just really opens the door for further diversity to be shown as well.
And it opens an entirely different conversation. How did you put the show together?
By being awesome. Many, many years of trying to be awesome. So I have always worked on just trying to improve myself, and also to never let go of that message that I've always wanted in life, which is, hey, look, I'm an Asian guy, yes, but I'm also attractive, and there are some things that need to change in society, and just not being afraid to talk about it. Because when I started to share about myself, my life on a platform like the TED stage or Huffington Post, it really drew the attraction of the Asian community, which then led me to Los Angeles and got this whole voice and thing to speak about on platforms like this. So I think just being awesome is just being authentic and true to yourself, not being told to be in this box that media and our stereotypes drew us for our whole life, right? And refusing to be in this new box that even I feel like sometimes Asians want to put us in. We want to put ourselves in this box and saying, no, I don't fit in that box either. Like fitting into your own and just being awesome and authentic to yourself, whether it's disapproving of the Asian community or not, to tell you the truth. Like, I think that's just part of being awesome.
I totally get that. I just want to go into the production side of doing the Bling Empire. Brandon, how did you put this together? How was the conversation among you when you were trying to put the show together?
Sure. I can only speak to the process of making the show itself. The producer that assembled this cast is named Jeff Jenkins. He's the other executive producer of the show. He assembled the cast through a series of long-standing relationships. He was friends with Christine and Anna for a really long time. Through Christine, he met Kelly. From Kelly, he met Kane. The way a lot of these shows are created, it's kind of like just going down the dominoes of a person's social network. You meet one person, you find out who their friends are, you find out who they vacation with, and then you just keep going and going and going. And then we have this large network of people, and then you decide, okay, what are the right elements that are going to give us a group of people that already do know each other? So you get that actual dynamic that you would get from a real group of friends, but also is diverse enough within the group that you get different sort of life experiences. We wanted people who were single. We wanted people who were married. We wanted people who had kids. So looking through the friendship circle, we went through and selected a group that really gave us a representative sample of all different life phases, and different entry points.
So if we're talking about the genesis of the show, who said, I want to do a reality series about Asia?
I think that every single person after Crazy Rich Asians in the world really had this idea. And then Jeff Jenkins was able to assemble this group of people.
When Mr. Jeff Jenkins was trying to cast a story in his mind, was that vision very clear? Because he's not Asian.
Crazy Rich Asians was a huge success. It showed that there was an appetite for this sort of content out there. I know that Jeff has a relative who recently adopted an Asian child, and he had a personal desire to help put this content out there. And then after meeting obviously with Kelly and with Christine and really seeing that there was a lot of depth there, he assembled this group, and then he brought me on as a Filipino-American showrunner to take it to pilot and then to series.
The Bling Empire, I watched it the first time. There were times when I would say, is this for real? Do you get that question, Kevin?
Yeah, that's why it was so awesome to be on the show. Because I agree. I mean, like, first of all, the person I hang out with the most really is Kane on the show. And I think our relationship would have been different if his family situation wasn't the situation he's in. So he kind of lives in this world where he's so used to that real crazy rich lifestyle. But hanging out with somebody like me was almost like great because he's like, oh, I get to save money. I don't have to do all these parties all the time and go shopping and just go to like a ramen place and vegetarian especially. And so I think that's what I loved being on this show and like having these friends is like, it's real. Like whether the cameras were on or off, we do this shit anyway. Can I say that? We do this stuff anyway. And whether the show is on or off. So it's just a lot of fun.
As I was watching the show, I gravitated towards you and your persona. And I thought there were some moments when you were not treated well. I felt bad at certain points because
when was
you
that?
were not crazy rich. But you were relatable. I wanted to say you're lovable because you stuck to your core. You stuck to who you are. And you just did that. Yes, you were fascinated by it, but there was not a moment when you got lost into it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I've always believed too, even if I do have all that money, someday I hope, right? Good karma comes my way. I don't think I would spend all that money on that stuff anyway, because really it doesn't make me that much happier, if happier to begin with. I've had opportunities to have lots of stuff and materialism in my life. I was pretty successful as a personal trainer as early in my career, and I found very early on that that stuff didn't make me happy.
Okay, Kevin, you become very close with Kane, I can imagine. But when you watch the show and when you listen to him describe you as not being too smart, but a nice guy, because we're also talking about portrayals, we're talking about anti-stereotypes, we're also talking about looking at other people holistically.
I have a dumb side to me. I think everybody has a dumb side. And so like, I loved it because I was like, oh, this is a different side that people don't get to see from Asians, not the serious, but like aloof or dumb or naive, whatever. I know I'm not dumb. dumb.
Into this
Yeah.
conversation, I tell you, you're not dumb. So is that a misreading?
No, he just catches goofy, dumb moments. Like when I'm with Kane, I feel like I'm dumb around him. Like it's just fun. We don't have this serious conversation. We play off of each other really well.
One of the fun things about making a show like this is the fact that there isn't a script. Like when we say it's an unscripted show, we really mean that. When we start filming, we don't know how it's going to end. And that's what makes the show feel the way that it feels, because it feels surprising, because every single day filming it, we were surprised. Kane and Kevin together, taking them to South Carolina, following them around down there, that was all them. We only had the beginning. We had a cast who had a bunch of different crossroads in their life and a lot of different experiences they were having. And we had a few months to follow them around, and the result was Bling Empire.
But were there lines fed to some members of the cast?
Let's just say if there were lines, I probably wouldn't have been on the show. I suck at memorizing lines. That's why I sucked as an actor and tried so hard. This was just so nice not to have anything to memorize.
You know why I ask? Because
Why do you ask, boy?
I ask because there are some great quotes from the series. And I'm wondering right now, Brandon, from a creative production point of view, how you just caught Anna, for example, saying, "There ain't no dick that's good."
There's a lot of quotable quotes because this cast is very smart and they're very fast and they're very witty. I mean, that's one of the things that I look for when putting a cast together like this. Are people quick on their feet? Can they think? And do they have opinions about things? You could pretty much take them anywhere. Like you could watch them go grocery shopping and that would pretty much be broadcastable. They're funny together and then they're also extroverted. So they're always talking to other people. They're always engaging the person behind the counter. So that sort of interactivity, it's an extroversion thing, right?
What really surprised me is Anna and Christine with all the jewelry. The super rich Asians that I know personally wouldn't even talk about jewelry or money. Did you convince these girls? Did you talk to them about it? Or are they what they are as we see them?
They are exactly what they are as you see them. And you can see that by their Instagrams. You know, if you go to Christine's Instagram from 3 years ago, from 4 years ago, from 5 years ago, it's exactly the same as it is today. The show did nothing but create a different vehicle for her story to be told. If you were to ask Kevin or me or Kane what it's like to hang out with Anna, it is exactly what you see on the show. You never know what's going to happen. She's always wearing a ton of diamonds and like ripped jeans. This cast is who they are. In terms of the lines that are so quotable, I just think that that's one of the things that's so nice to have. We all have friends who are those hilarious people who we always want to invite to a party because they're always the light of the party. This cast is all like that. And I feel so fortunate to get to spend all these months with them because it's just cracked me up all the time.
I love the idea, Kevin, for example, when you really were offended on her behalf because of Guy and Kim, who went to the bathroom and found that penis pump.
Yeah, I did, because it was like Kim's just being a disrespectful Malibu brat. It's just, of course, and Anna's been nothing but kind to everybody. So I'm not going to be like, Kim, yeah, you're right, you know, and just, to me, I think it's just about being honest and having some integrity. That's all.
How are you and Kelly, Kevin?
We're friends. I mean, I just talked to her last night, actually. We text, we talk, we call. I don't talk to her about Andrew, but we talk about everything else.
Do you still like her?
I love her as a friend. Yeah. She brother zoned me. I'm friend zoning her. But like she literally like surprised me when I saw that she got back with Andrew. And that's kind of when I was like, okay, I'm witnessing the going back, the breaking up bullshit that they always go through. So like I want nothing to do with that anymore.
Brandon, weren't you tempted to cast somebody Filipino-American in the series?
Yes, of course. Of course. And Guy Tang's husband, Almar, is Filipino. He lives in LA. We filmed with him many times, but he was working for a lot of the times, so we weren't able to film as much of him as we would have liked. So I really always thought we were going to have more of Almar in the show. Definitely would be nice to have the Filipino accent and the Filipino voice in the show.
Brandon, congratulations, because I think the best thing about the series also is we discover as an audience that it's not just about bling, it's about mothers, it's about fathers, it's about adoptive parents, it's about friendship, it's about respect, it's about tradition, and it's about so many other things. It's a holistic portrayal of people and their story. And I want to say thank you and looking forward to the next season.
I think what you just said about the show, it makes me very, very proud that you had that response to the show and that you really got to see the depth of these characters, it always comes back to them. You know, they were so brave to share all of that and to actually fully open their hearts and their homes and their lives. You know, they deserve all the credit for having that bravery and that courage to invite everyone into their world.
The Bling got me in the beginning, but as I was watching the series, I got into the stories and I got into the people. I got into the humanity of the people involved in the show. Brandon, maraming salamat. Proud that you're Filipino. Thank you very much. Kevin, maraming salamat. All the best in all that you are and in all that you do. And looking forward to the second season of Bling Empire.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa iyong suporta sa Bling Empire. Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.